I, 21F, want to help my best friends, 20F, baby's father, 19M, take care of the baby, but I don't want it to ruin things with my friend. This is kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short because I am tired and it is late. My best friend had a baby girl with her now ex-boyfriend a year ago. She completely abandoned him and her daughter, and she is kind of immature. She talked with me a lot and told me she wanted to enjoy her youth and party and that the baby was a burden to her. Her ex is the complete opposite. He is a great parent, good person, and he is the type of guy you marry if you ever have the chance to be with him. I talk with him a lot because I became friends with him. He goes to school as a full-time student, he works full-time, and he also cares for his daughter. He usually takes his daughter to daycare at his university, and during his work hours his mom helps him or I help him sometimes. I have gotten a little more involved and I feel so bad for him. You can tell he is exhausted and never gets a break. I had offered to watch his daughter since I was home watching my niece too, and he accepted. I offered him dinner and he stayed to eat with me. We hung out for a little and he fell asleep when we were watching some movies together. I put his daughter to bed and I let him rest because you could really see the exhaustion and he looked like he was finally getting some rest. He apologized the next morning and said he didn't mean for that to happen, but I told him it was okay. Now I feel bad for him. I want to help and be more involved, but I don't want my best friend to think I'm betraying her. How can I help him without upsetting my friend? TLDR, my best friend had a baby who she didn't want to help raise. Dad is stuck doing a lot at once and he never gets a break. I want to be more involved without losing my friend. It really sounds like the question you want to ask is, can I date this dude without blowing up my friendship? To which the answer is probably not. Your friend clearly doesn't give a fuck about him or her kid. Do what you gotta do. Honestly, you do what you want to do. If it's something you want to do, then do it. I think you need to ask yourself if you want to pursue anything with him or if you want to genuinely help as a friend. From above it would seem that you do have feelings towards him, either as a friend or possibly more. It sounds like he is being an amazing dad. You describe him in great terms, while you describe her in an awful light. So why do you consider her your best friend? Will you actually lose someone who brings positive value to your life? This is an age where you start to really develop your own character and set how you want to be as a person. Do you want to be an honest, dependable, and good friend to those in need and who would appreciate you? Or do you want to align yourself with a party girl who is willing to abandon her own child to have some fun? Who do you want to me? Alcohol has ruined our marriage. Is there any hope? 33M, 33F. I am a 33M married to a 33F. Wife is about a day I fucked up and very sexy woman. We don't have any kids and have been together since we were 19, and married for 5. Only problem is she is a raging alcoholic. So much so now that I refuse to have sex with her when she's drunk, which is every day. Obviously I want to have sex, but there is nothing sexy about her being blind drunk. Especially when she will come into the room saying how horny she is and she wants sex, and if I give it to her she will be back in less than 5 minutes saying let's have sex. You never want to have sex. I want sex, without a clue that we just had it. This isn't your normal drunk sex on Friday night kind of thing. This is more that no matter what time of day she's drunk. Most of the time I have to lock my bedroom door just to keep her away from me, which results in hours and hours of her banging and kicking at the door screaming, why is this door locked? Why is it locked? I mean, a whole year of this with COVID was bad enough, but now I'm starting to stick to my enough is enough, and I'm not putting up with this anymore. So she is going around telling all her side of the family what a terrible husband I am, how I don't treat her well, don't take care of her and such. In the last 5 years she has had about 30 jobs, each one she lost, or got fired, all related to her drinking. I on the other hand have been self-employed the entire time, paying every single bill and expense with no help from anyone, including her. Our neighbors called the police on us about a week ago. I was asleep in the bed when she started screaming at my door, which was just normal, but this time she was yelling the police are here. I hadn't seen or spoken to her in days. She had just got back from a weekend away on her own. which she just took off to. I wake up to the police, and her yelling at the police. I went down to see what was going on, and the cop is like, "We are here for a welfare check," due to a woman screaming. Which was very strange, as she had been gone for 3 days and there wasn't a peep from our house. Then last night I overheard the neighbors in their backyard how they called the police because they were scared for her safety due to all the screaming. She looks like this innocent little creature, and I look like some monster next to her, and everyone assumes I am abusing her, and I must definitely be the asshole. I try really hard to not respond to her and ignore her, but sometimes I do snap back, especially when she just refuses to let me sleep for days. One of the hardest things about this all is nearly everything out there is for dealing with an alcoholic husband and is all basically written for women. There is hardly anything out there for how to deal with this from the guy's perspective. I have no one I can speak to this about. She's promised to stop drinking the entire 2020, which I let slide, because COVID and all. But she was supposed to stop at the beginning of last year. A few weeks ago, she took a shot of tequila, whilst already drunk, drove down to the shops 5 minutes away and had a minor accident. The moment she got home she was crying, begging me not to leave. Gave me all her cards and car keys, as well as telling me she was going to go to meetings and speak with professionals, which she did over the phone in front of me. Didn't go anywhere. Within a couple of days she took some money from me, which was for emergencies, and she went bought drinks. Back to square one. All this stress and drama is slowly killing me, and I'm starting to feel I have no other option but to divorce. Is there any hope? Too long didn't read. Wife's drinking has reached an extreme level and I don't know how to deal with it. Please tell me you didn't marry her like this. Your options are, she goes to inpatient rehab, or the marriage is done, or this is your life. There's absolutely no incentive for her to change if you keep making it comfortable to continue. Had she killed someone that night she drove, the matter would have been out of her hands. Whatever got her to this point is not something you can solve, and the only magic words you have are, you go to rehab now, no excuses, or this is done. You've got to be strong or 2 lives will be ruined. Hey, your wife sounds like one of my last neighbors. Last time I had to call the cops on them, she thought she locked herself out in the snow, was screaming and banging their doors at 10 a.m., tried to get in by breaking a window, and then started bleeding heavily on the sidewalk, which they never cleaned up. When the cops came, turned out the door was unlocked the entire time, her boyfriend wasn't even home, and she tried to refuse emergency services. Listening to her yell near daily, bang doors, and throw shit at the walls is simultaneously anxiety-inducing and infuriating. If I heard this woman finally drank herself to death, I would be pleased by the news. Fucking bail on this woman. She sexually assaults and physically and verbally abuses you, and then tries to make you out to be the bad guy. Fuck that. Quit jeopardizing your own good name and your neighbor's sanity on the hopes that she'll change. She won't. Sounds like she needs to hit rock bottom before it clicks, and even then it might not. Man, you have it rough. There is very little wisdom to be found here on Reddit, but hang tough, brother. I'm going to point out the obvious, but you're between a rock and a hard place. Very few can emerge from unscathed. I presume you are with her because behind the drunk is your wife, whom you love dearly but can't seem to reach. I'd suggest you sit down with her family and lay it out for them in clear words. If they're decent people, they should understand and work with you to find a solution before she hurts herself in a serious accident. You will want to draw a line on money outflows and alcohol in the house, even though that might lead to a lot more screaming. Beyond that, just trust your instincts. If you feel your sanity is at stake, there is no shame in walking away. Get out. She has no reason to change and she's not interested in any of that. Apparently she can sell that you're the alcoholic and she's the fragile one, meaning you're about to land into trouble the next time she's screaming. That's an expensive legal bill, and then you still need to separate from her, as you're then considered a danger to her. If it's not that, she's going to kill someone with her car and then you're stuck paying for all of that. Not to mention the medical bills once she is too far into it to detox. Call your network. Explain that you need a place to stay. Go there and start looking for legal help for a divorce. Also see that you organize the finances as such that she can only access one account, but not all anymore. She is way too far into her addiction to just stop drinking. She will develop delirium tremens, have seizures, and die. This woman needs inpatient rehab in order to detox. She needs a residential treatment program where she stays there for at least 90 days, but ideally 6 to 12 months followed by 12 months in a sober house. This is not a quick fix by any stretch. Cop does not have to be punished anymore. Push her to seek treatment, and then decide if you want to divorce once she's had some clean time. Or, if you're just done, get her into treatment and serve the papers immediately. Neither way makes you wrong. You need to start looking out for yourself for once. See if you can find some Al-Anon groups. Believe those are for family of addicts/alcoholics. Good luck. What is keeping you in this marriage besides pity? It's not pity, it's the fact that she's visually both today I fucked up and very sexy. If you read Op's post, there's nothing about her wife being compassionate or kind of empathetic or any other personality trait that has to do her, it's about her looks. He's putting up this mess BC she's good looking. Divorce or suck it up, Op. How do I, F30s, break the news to my older brother, M40s, that I'm pregnant with my first child? Okay guys, I'm going to try to be as specific as possible without being identifiable. Throwaway since my brother browses Reddit regularly. So my brother and I had a so-so relationship growing up. He was the golden child while I was the scapegoat. My personal theory is that my mother thought having a girl would fix her marriage, but I didn't, and so she blames me. So my parents separated/divorced by the time I was 4, and she took her anger out on me. That's my theory anyway. I was seen kind of as the screw up even though I was really just angry and abused. My brother kind of bought into this idea that he was the better kid. This changed when I turned 18 and moved out of the house. My abusive mother was out of my life for the most part and I was a much happier and calmer person. Took us some time to rebuild our relationship as siblings, not to mention a lot of distance. When my brother got together with my now sister-in-law, F35ish, and saw how my sister-in-law was mistreated by my mother, he started to realize that maybe I wasn't the instigator of a lot of problems in our childhood home. After some tears and some kind of eggshell walking, we have managed to rebuild what I think is a very strong friendship. I talk to him multiple times a week, sometimes every day. We hang out, we video chat. We're still siblings and we still fight, but for the most part we've managed to shape our relationship into a strong adult friendship. I'm laying this foundation because it's important to realize that our dynamic now is still a little bit delicate in certain areas. In a lot of ways I was forced to be more independent growing up, and so by certain metrics I'm more successful. I went to a top 10 university for undergraduate and then a graduate degree. I'm in my career and earning a bit more than he is despite being about a decade younger. I'm financially independent. This kind of clashes with this established notion he still has buried that I'm the screw up. It's not like he ever says anything cruel or mean, but sometimes I'll do something that is impressive and he will be overly surprised. He has had a lot of golden child reality checks as an adult. One really big one is that he discovered that he is infertile. He and his wife were trying to have children for years before he got tested. This put a major strain on him and his relationship, because for years his wife thought it was her, that she was failing. They started going through therapy and seemed to have worked together on this big change in their marriage. His wife is adopted, and so having a biological child is extremely important to her. She made this super clear even before they were married. She is not against adoption, but she really wants to try other avenues. Initially my brother had a very bad reaction to this. He did not want to use a sperm donor and was very macho about it, very unlike his overall personality. That's the last I heard about it, which was about 2 years ago. It's their business and I try not to pry, while lending an ear when needed. I have since gotten married to my long-term boyfriend, and we decided we wanted to start trying to have a family since we're settled. Infertility issues run rampant in my family, including a number of aunts, uncles and cousins. Not to mention my mother had a number of miscarriages between my brother and I. I thought it would take some time and I would have a lot of trouble getting pregnant and didn't want to delay. Lo and behold, I'm pregnant 1 month after stopping my birth control, 6 months after my wedding. We've been keeping my pregnancy quiet while it's early, in case I had any problems. Easy with COVID to keep it a secret, however we are rapidly approaching the safe date we chose, where we would share the news. I'm not sure how to breach this subject with my brother and my sister-in-law. I know they'll be happy for me, but I want to be sensitive to their feelings. They have wanted biological children for such a long time, and I know that part of them will be crushed. I don't want them to find out with everyone else. I want to give them a chance to process beforehand, but I'm unsure how to go about it. Any advice? Too long didn't read. My brother and sister-in-law want biological kids, but are unable to have any without medical and donor intervention. My husband and I are pregnant with our first after barely trying, and I want to be sensitive.